Hello, hello. How are you guys? Finally, sorry about the delay. It's been some technical difficulties, but here we are. I'm going to quickly add Justin in.
Hi, guys. Oh, hi, everybody. How you doing?
Very good. How are you, Justin? Thank you for having us here.
Yeah, it's glad to be here. As much people we can help get in dental school this year, that's our goal. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Can you hear me clear, Justin?
Perfect, perfect.
I was having a little echo. So
Yeah,
how are you doing? Thank you for joining in.
Yeah, doing great, doing great. Yeah, yeah. I found out more of my students are getting accepted. Actually, someone just got invited for like next cycle already. The dean's already messaged them like beforehand, I guess. They're interviewing next month in February. So yeah, there's a fun tip right there. I think I lost audio. Lost audio, I think. Can you guys hear me? Let me see what happened here.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Yeah, I can hear you now. All right, perfect.
All right. All right, we have some comments coming in too. Fantastic. That means everyone's here.
See it. Yeah.
All right, my friend. So Caapid 2023 edition. It's been a roller coaster year, but why don't you start with like who you are, all those friends and students who do not know you, a little bit about you, really fast, please. So
of course, yeah. Oh, great. Yes, yeah, so I'm a graduate of UIC's Advanced Standing Program. I was a dentist in the Philippines before this, and during COVID pandemic, I was a district commissioner for the American Dental Education Association, and I connected with a lot of professors, admissions personnel, and I'm very close with some at different universities. And they've told me like what they're looking for in a student. So since then, I've helped close to over 280 students get accepted to dental school in the past 3 years. And that's not just advanced standing, that's residency programs, specialty, what's it called, the 4-year traditional students as well, AGD, GPR. So I just kind of found a great, like, what's it called, combination of what they're looking for in a student. And the reason I started doing this is because I went to 2 different consultants back in my day, and they told me, oh, with your profile, you're never gonna get into dental school. And I didn't have the time or money. I have 2 kids. So I was like, I don't have time to go to MPH. I don't have time to do hygiene. So I just applied anyways, and I got into 4 programs. And I was like, I knew it, all right? They were just talking. And since then, I've talked to a lot of professors on the admissions board at every university you can probably think of, and they've told me what they're looking for in a student. And so I like to share that information because I don't want other people to kind of not apply just because they might hear something that I heard, you know?
Fantastic, my friend. Fantastic. I think this is what kept me going too. Once I got into UOP just this year, I wanted to give back. Like there's so much information out there, but most of it just like not correct. It's false. Everyone's just telling someone else so many different false information. That's where I always want to help people out, give them the right information, help them out too. This whole process, especially for international foreign trained dentists, is like very tedious. Everyone gets do not get in the school first time or even the second time, and then they are always just asking the same question from each other, like, what was I doing wrong? Am I like is my profile bad? Something's wrong with me? And I think this is where we have to like just work as a team, tell each and everyone like, hey, it's gonna be okay. Trust the process, okay? Trust the process and do not give up. So all right, let's further without any ado, let's start with the Caapid. So what's the number one question that everyone wants to ask is personal statement, the SOP.
Yeah.
So let's start from there.
Definitely. I can help you with that. And actually, it's funny you say that. If I had $1 for every time someone said, "What am I doing wrong?" or like, I think every day I get a call or a text message from someone. oh, like what do I do? Or they're freaking out. But I always thought, hey, just relax. Actually, because it's 2 months till cycle opens, right? And
Right.
so when everybody freaks out, actually during the cycle until they get into the first interview, people are freaking out. But I'm going to tell you now, you can ask, if you talk to any of my previous students, which you've seen me tag them on my stories, you'll know that, yep, they've been through the same thing. Just trust the cycle, trust the process. The less you stress, the better for your health overall. But for your personal statement, as everybody knows, this for most schools, this is like the number one, like the important document. Because remember, the school only has an entire picture of you through like a resume of what you've done, but your personal statement is how you talk about yourself. And remember, it's a personal statement. So I can tell you what teachers have told me is like the worst things they hear. So maybe you guys, everyone gets a better idea, is that you talk about somebody else too much. Like I have people talk about their parents for 2 or 3 paragraphs, or they talk about an uncle, aunt, right? And
exactly. And I think most of us have this problem or difficulty or mistake. Everyone starts with the same intro. My dad was this, he was a dentist, my mom was a dentist, my uncle was a dentist, and because I saw them, I wanted to be a dentist too, and here goes 2 paragraphs. I tell everybody the same thing. You have limited words. This is the most important real estate. You do not want to just blah 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 all the things. You have to be very meticulous with the words.
Definitely. No, I completely agree. It's like whatever you choose there is going to be like, for example, like, so another bad thing they do is they just pick their resume, a whole bunch of dates. It's just like your personal statement is a written resume. In 2013, I did this. In 2018,
that is
I did
right.
this.
That is
it's
right.
the dates there thing. So yeah. So I've read all like the bad things. And again, these are just coming from professors who went through. It's like, I know your resume.
I think this is really nice that we're talking about all those mistakes so they can hear it, because that's exactly what happens. This is how the resume, start. I've read like my due diligence, and all right, I was born here. I went to high school at this time, this year. After that, I went to college this year. After then, I went to dental school. First year this, second year this. I graduated, and I 2000 this, and now this year I did the house job and the residency. It's already on the resume. Why are you explaining the same thing again?
Exactly. They want to know what's special about you. So, for example, like here's a great example. I can talk about what's it called, dental school in the Philippines. I can say everything I did there, or I can say what you took away from it is different. Like, yes, we did prosthodontics, we did what's it called, oral surgery, orthodontics. But what you did is, like, I work with special needs patients. I work with patients of diverse backgrounds, all patients of all ages. You did molar endo, because remember, what they don't know what you did there. So say what you specifically did, but also say what you took out from it. I became a better leader. I had research experience, things like that. Okay.
Exactly. The other thing I would want to say, please do not copy someone else's statement. I see that all the time. Oh, Dr. McDoom, you're already in school. Can I just get your SOP? I just want to copy a few things. Or everyone just go on Google dental school SOPs, and they just copy word to word. I kid you not, word to word, because they love their. Imagine your admission committee, Justin, and you have to go through 800, 900 SOPs, and every SOP has the same ending, the same intro, and then you're like, oh my God, it's like, is that the same school in all India, Pakistan, China, and like, I don't know what's going on. So
exactly, they know something's up, right?
Exactly. So what Justin said, guys, this is one step before your interview, right? So you have to put something new, something different. Everyone has their own story. You just have to think about it, right? I'm going to talk a little bit later about like some SOP writing services too, but I'm going to say a really important word. If you're going to tell someone to write a SOP for you, that's where you're going to fail. That's the problem. I always tell all my students to write with your own hands, everything with your heart. And I have a trick that works for me. I'm from Pakistan, right? So I first write in my own language. I have a feeling where when I write in my own language, I have a flow. I'm writing with my passion. So try this. Write small sentences in your own language, in your native language, then translate it into English. Once you do that, Then if you want to send it to someone for proofreading, fix the grammar, fix the vocabulary, yes, I do suggest that. I do recommend it, and we're going to talk about this in end two. But please do not let someone else write your story. It's kind of like you're telling someone else to go get this interview for you. You know what I'm saying? How would you feel if I'm going to be like, hey, you have your interview, you have been waiting for it, and now you're going to send someone else go for it? How would you like it, right?
Yeah.
Any other mistakes that people do? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Actually, no, I completely agree. So actually, I do have writing service as well, but what I always say makes the best personal statement is if the person writes it themselves first. That way, like, I understand that, everyone's English is not the same level, and you're competing with 1,100 other candidates, pretty much, sometimes 1,500. I heard it's getting bigger every year. But then before you go to a writer or anyone who's going to write it, like, have the passion in it first. Like, talk about like why you really wanted dentistry. And don't just say the money, because like when I always ask people, like, tell me the truth, why did you want to become a dentist? Like, the financial stability, right? But I'm like, okay, I mean, other than that, right? But yeah, like, speak to the heart, your story from the heart first, and work with somebody. And when the person you pick, try to like talk to them first about like, maybe make sure you guys see eye to eye. It's like picking a dentist, right? You like, I know a lot of people when right, it's like picking a dentist, right? It's like you have to trust them to like drill your tooth. So like, even whoever you take advice from, like me and you, right? Like, for example, if you're gonna take advice from anybody out there, just like, I'm not gonna get hurt if you don't take my advice. I have like 500 unread messages right now. Well, I'm just saying is that make sure you trust the person. Make sure you have that good relationship with them, because again, this is the person who's going to help you take all across the cycle. Another bad thing I think you shouldn't do is, I've been this 3 years now. You have like 10 different people you're taking advice from, and so you're changing throughout the cycle 10 different things, different ways. Just try to find one route that you like and go about it. Remember, it's your life, it's your future.
Exactly. Yeah. Any other mistakes or some things you have noticed that you want to address in a personal statement before we move on to another second topic?
Of course. I mean, just listing. Okay, actually, I can give besides mistakes, I can go over like a general flow of what it should kind of, because I get this asked all the time. Okay, how should I write my personal statement? So first, obviously, a personal statement, you guys, it's pretty much, why do you want dentistry, or why do you want to be in our advanced standing program? So the key points I always tell people to talk about is, why dentistry in the first place? What was your passion? What was your motivation? Give an engaging story. Because I've heard from other people that from admissions that is, when some people read it, if you don't engage them in that first paragraph, or like if it's just really poorly written, or they talk about somebody else, they'll stop reading. Like, okay, you talk about your brother for like 20 sentences.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then talk about yeah, exactly. And then next is talk about dental school in your home country, and not just exactly like, oh, I got to dental school, it was great, I did this, and this. It's good to list what you did, but if you want any awards, list it. Talk about what's special about your dental school. Mine, we had a ton of patients. I even talked about how we had to wait in line for 4 hours before, because we had no special reserved clinic seat. We have to wait in a 4-hour line sometimes to get into pros, and it's first come, first serve. And I talked about like what I learned from that is patience, is how to become resourceful, is communication by having somebody wait in line for me, and then I would like do lab work while waiting, things like that. So talk about what's unique about your dental school too. If you worked with, what's it called? Again, you'll have a small time to do it. So it's like, I work with pediatric, geriatric. I worked with, what's it called? Did you do any advanced cases? That's what they would really want to know. Because how are you going to stand? How is this guy going to stand out from everybody else? Type of thing. And next is home country experience. You work as a dentist, specialty training. Then another question I heard that what everyone wants to hear is, why the U.S.? They want to know why you went to the U.S. Is it something specific because of family? You got married? That's fine. But briefly talk about what is attractive about a U.S. dental school. And then what you did to prepare in the United States or Canada or North America for your career in dental school. What prepared you? Did you do shadowing, preceptorship, dental assisting? Here's the thing is, guys, I guarantee 90% of your competition is a dental assistant or has dental assistant experience. 90%, if not every single person, right? I mean, I've had people who worked at Amazon part-time and a dental assistant part-time. But what about your dental assisting experience you put in your personal statement is different than the 98%, right? Or 99%. That's what's going to get you in. Like, everyone was a general dental assistant. Did you do specialty training? Did you work with technology? Did you work with anything in specifically that makes you different? Did you work with 20 different dentists? You know what I mean? So that, again, how you describe it is better. Okay.
Exactly.
Then finally, your future goals. What do you want to do? All right. Those are the main 5 guidelines of how you should do your personal statement. This is coming directly, again, from different admission professionals, okay, who different universities that my clients have gotten accepted to recently. If you've seen my post, like the girl there, ask her.
Yeah.
Right. And in these schools, they tell you, right? They tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. The schools want to know your goal and how that school will help you achieve that goal. Let me repeat
exactly.
That. What your goal is, let's say you want to be a really good endodontist, right? So you are going to the specific school that has a really good endodontic program. So after that, you can get into a residency, and the school is going to get you achieve that endodontic dream. You know where I'm coming from? So first of all, you have to identify your goal. I mean, becoming a dentist in the United States is not, it's an achievement. Yes, it's not a goal. What's your goal? What do you want? After you become a dentist, what do you want to do now? That's when the goal and passion comes. You have to put that in the statement. Once that's done, then you have to show the school, hey, I researched about your program. I'm not applying everywhere else because I know your program has the potential to get my goal, take me from where it's supposed to be. And I'm going to get there if you're going to get me in, get that opportunity. I'm going to utilize all those opportunities, the faculty you have, to get where I want to be. See where I'm coming from? This is what you need to do. Justin, one more question. I get it a lot. Yeah. I'm sure you too.
Yeah.
INBD attempts, should we put in the SOP or not? Or
no.
hardships, are we going to talk about them or not?
That's a great question. I always say it depends. I mean, it really depends on what it is, because everyone tells me that. But I would definitely not put INBD attempts in your personal statement. Some schools ask specifically. Like remember, I think there's some supplementals that, do you have any bad grades? Please explain why. I think one school asked, do you have any INBD attempts? Please explain why. I'll tell you something. I have 2 NBDE Part 1 attempts, and I still got into 4 schools. But guess what? Most of the schools I interviewed at, guess what they asked me? Why did you fail NBDE? Why do you have a low GPA? So the thing is, if you have it, don't worry. They're going to make either if they really want to know, they're going to ask you during the interview or during a supplemental question, pretty much. Explain this low grade.
Same thing. Yeah, exactly. So I have attempts as well on Part 1, and I would say the same thing. Leave that answer for the interview. You know what I'm saying? They will ask you. They know already that you had attempts. You know, you cannot like hide it. So it's one of those things where you know it, they know it, but let's not talk about it in the statement. Now, as Justin said, if there's a separate question, like a supplemental question where they ask you like, hey, why did you fail? I would say prepare for that. And your approach should always be like, oh yeah, sucks to suck, I failed. No, everybody fails. They want to see if you failed, what did you do different that you passed the next time? You know what I'm saying? So you have to always combine this. Yes, I failed. Some family problems. I was not serious. Or what I said in my interview question was like, hey, studying in the United States is totally different as compared to studying in my home country. The system was different. I thought it's going to be a different approach. So when I failed, I had to change my approach. I have to ask help from my peers, from my colleagues. I wanted to know how they passed. And then I'd sit down and I had to do and follow their steps. So they want to know because dental school is one of the toughest in the country. It's not easy, guys. It's one thing, everybody wants to be a dentist and DDS, but once you get into dental school, Justin knows, it's not easy. No. So they want to know if you fail in some semesters, some classes over there too, would you be able to get back on your feet and do it again? So this is what you need to show. One more thing, after this, we're going to move to another topic. From top to finish, get at least 1 to 2 paragraphs about not dentistry. They want to know who are you as a person? Do you have any hobbies? What do you do like when you're not a dentist, guys? On the weekends, what do you do? Do you like coffee? Do you like music? Do you play sports? Do you exercise? There has to be something, right? So if you have something, this is your chance. because sometimes I've seen the admission committee do not care about all the admission things, but they stick with this one thing. Oh, she plays a guitar, or she's a singer, he's a dancer, and then they bring that up in the interviews too. You know, sometimes so you got to think about, you got to highlight those, you know, factors.
Actually, just touching on what Leo, actually just touching what you said is that it's funny. Like most of my interviews went over an hour, right?
Yeah.
And I always tell people the reason why is because I just talked about music, because remember, they interview a ton of students. If it's usually times 3 or 4 of how many people get accepted. So if they interview that many people, guess how they hear the same boring thing over and over again. So I remember they lit up. Oh God, thank God he's talking about music, or he's talking about I was on TV for singing songs about dentistry. And then you know how many times I've been asked to sing? Almost every interview they've asked me to sing in front of them, or like. For another candidate, they told me like they brought their artwork. If it's a virtual, they showed the picture in the background. So always try to find a way to stand out. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's how you remember. That's how they remember you too. Like, you know, even after the interview. All right, let's move to the second most asked question.
Let's do it.
TOEFL. So number one, the myth is, what's the perfect TOEFL score? I'm going to ask you, then I'm going to say what I think. And number two, how to improve it.
Okay.
So
for TOEFL, man, I hear this every day. Like people think like I already got 100, but they want to get 114, 112, right? This is coming directly from, okay, I think it's Corey from USC, Bralia from UIC, Memory from UW, because they get asked this too much times and they stop replying, I think, to people. So whatever the minimum is, you met it. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. If you meet the minimum. What if their website says 90, just get a 90. If their website says 80, get an 80, right? And then it's like if you pass INBDE, you met the requirement. If you pass, what's it called? That's it. INBDE, TOEFL, you have your ECE. It's just another check off the list. Did you meet it? Okay, now you can apply to our program. Yeah.
Exactly. I also say all my you know, friends the same thing. If you really want to improve or something, anything more than 100, it's after 100, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter if you have 114 and I have 101. After 100, it's more than enough. If the school wants 90, after 90, everyone is a pass. You know what I'm saying? So Justin, who has 120, is also a pass, and I, who has 91, is also a pass. So that's why what Justin said, if the school wants 90 or more, just get 90 or more. Don't get into the nitty gritty of like, but I got 114, so I got to do it again. No, focus on other stuff. Okay.
Exactly.
Now, how do you improve a TOEFL score, Justin?
Oh, again, this is funny. I get asked this on the daily, a text message. I really have my inbox is like 500 unread messages. So I got a 114 on TOEFL. So it depends on what your level is. Like I've had some students who needed a tutor. So they hired a one-on-one tutor who gave them a TOEFL breakdown. They found out what's their weakest point and they go through it. So like there's a ton, and like you can hire from different countries. They're like $5 an hour. So they do 1 hour a week. And then they'll go, hey, we'll study reading this week. We'll study writing that week. So it depends on what your weakness is. If it's speaking, then again, practice your speaking. But again, everybody's different. Sometimes there's online courses or YouTube videos. But what's your advice, Leo?
I would just say at this point, it also depends where you're from too. So a friend of mine, he's from Saudi Arabia, and they did not have English speaking. You know, school, they had to work really hard. Admission committees know that too. They would never compare a Saudi Arabian student to a Russian student or an Indian student, because as compared to them, Indians have very, very good English. So they also, that factors a lot too. So it's a common thing, you know, whenever someone gets in, the first question is, oh my God, please share your profile. Please, what's your profile?
Share the profile, yeah.
And now everyone's like, okay, well, I had 90 or 89 TOEFL. And everyone's like, but I have 114. I never got in. There are a lot of other factors involved.
It's not one thing,
Exactly. Maybe he's from Egypt. Maybe he's from, Saudi Arabia. Maybe you're from India and Pakistan. So you're competing with like 115s, 116s. In Saudi Arabia, 77, you in. That's enough English for them to understand. You know what I'm saying? So I think, number one, this is very important. Number two, like I said, reading, very important. Writing, it's all about consistency, guys. If you want to sit down and learn about TOEFL and watch all the YouTube videos and everything one day for 8 hours, it's not gonna work. You have to give 30 minutes every day, train your brain, the vocabulary by reading, watching TV, the movies, speaking. All of you guys who are in the United States and ask me how to improve, bro, you're in the United States. Everyone speaks English here. So I do not know like what to tell you at this point. Just go outside, talk to people, you know?
Yeah. Actually,
all right.
Just wait, touch base on that, the English speaking thing. Again, like here's a quote like my dental school professors taught me. Everything, mostly, like almost everything in life is repetition. If you want to get good at something, it's just repetition. And even I watch TED Talks on YouTube. They say it takes 30 days to make or break a habit. So if you want to like wake up at 5 a.m., start doing it for 30 days straight, and eventually it will become a habit. So if it's your reading, guess what? Test yourself in reading every single day for an hour. So you want to get so good where you can't give yourself an excuse. You can't look back. Oh, I wish I tried harder. Or hey, no, I tried my best and I failed. Great, but as long as you can say you tried your best, then you're good.
Exactly. Justin, we have a question. Abdul Rahim, he's asking, would you say that it should be more about your skills and how you implemented them to stand out, or shall it have more emotional stances, or both? I think he's still talking about the personal statement.
Actually, that's a great. I get that asked a lot because like some people, like again, I've read probably 1,000 personal statements by now in the past 3 years, if not more. So again, the emotional standpoint, I mean, like this is what I tell people: make it very short and sweet if you're going to do it. And make it like, okay, what they really want to know is, remember, they read 1,000 applications. It depends on where you're going. The emotional stance is probably for a supplemental. Like, for example, Loma Linda asks, or like, not just Loma Linda, a lot of schools ask, because I help edit personal supplementals. They ask, tell me about a time you faced a difficulty and how'd you overcome it? Or tell me about the like a big life-changing moment, or how you overcame something. So that's the time they want to know it. Personal statement is why you want to come to an advanced standing program. But if you talk about like, how would you fit that emotional story and why an advanced standing program? If your mother died and she was a dentist, you want to relive her legacy. That's an emotional story that why you want to go to an advanced standing program. So it just has to answer the question. Remember, a personal statement. It's your personal statement on why you want to be a dentist in the United States. So if you can make it emotional, then do it. Right. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. I'm going to go to topic number 3. Here we go. Don't compare profiles. We kind of touched base on that too.
Yes. Yeah.
Anything you want to add to it? I think that's very important because that's number one thing. Everyone keeps saying like, I
had the same profile this guy.
Exactly. Someone gets it. Now, here's the thing, guys. One thing. Nowadays, every school is about diversity. All right.
Oh
so
my gosh.
if there's a class of, just to keep the math simple, 20, okay? And I'm the dean of a school, right? And I've already got like 3 people who have MPH. Maybe the 4th one, I don't want an MPH.
Yeah.
You know where I'm coming from? So maybe someone who's sharing a profile and they had MPH, and you're thinking, oh, you know what? That means that school needs MPH. No, maybe they already got the MPH ones. Now they don't want the MPH. Maybe they want someone who had a preceptorship. Then they got maybe 1 or 2 preceptorship people, and then now they're like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna want a new grad in the group too. And after 2-3 of new grads, I want to have a one with like a really 10 to 15 years of experience. So this is how they are making a class. All the diversity all over the world, all the experience, no experience, new grad, old grad, masters, PhD, no masters, no PhD. So once again, please don't say or don't do this thing where I have all this thing, I have masters, I have preceptorship, I have this, I have 4.0, I didn't get in, and the other person did. Their story is different, their circumstances is different. Also, school is different too. Depends on, there are some schools, if you have certain kind of profile, if you're more research oriented, you have a lot of research, you were top, poster presentation and this and publication. Maybe when you were applying to a school who was really clinical heavy, that was the wrong move. Maybe you should have focused on schools those are, more research oriented. So that's what I would say in this. What about you, Justin?
Yeah, no, okay. The whole profile, don't compare profile things, completely agree. Again, I've worked with a student, like every year, everything is dependent on the school. Like sometimes, for example, remember, some schools are first come, first serve. So if like 300 Indian students applied, you're competing. So that's why I say apply early, because they're going to base it on if they meet the minimum requirements. But then again, don't compare profiles, because you don't know what is special about the personal statement. Because when you read the personal profile where GPA is the same, we almost have the same experiences, maybe they explained it differently. I had one girl last cycle, we only did a Caapid edit session together where I logged in and we kind of said, hey, you explained these things wrong. She did like 2 preceptorships and she had like advanced training in her home country, but she said it was continuing education, not an actual experience. So again, and how she worded it was very bad English. We changed that. She had like 8 interviews. So I always tell everybody, guys, it's just how you explain things sometimes, because you can have the same profile, but how did you present it? You know what I mean? You can have a Ferrari engine inside of a Beetle, and you know what I mean? And it just look different, but they do the same exact thing, right? That's just the way I would look at it. It's how you present everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Before we move forward, there's a question from Adriana Laura. Hi, I have a 96 on TOEFL. I'm preparing for my second cycle. Would you recommend to take it again to get a better score?
Yeah.
Depends on the school. I think 96 is a great score, in my opinion. And 80% of schools want 80 or 85 or 90. So, I mean, it depends. What kind of schools are you targeting, Adriana? Are you targeting the schools that have a requirement of 90 or 100? Once again, if you're targeting 90 and you have a 96, you have passed that, roadblock. Move on to the better things. If you're targeting a school that has 100, then of course that means you need to get. If you personally, I mean, I do not know which state you're from, which country you're from. If you're from a country that has people who have great English, you're competing with your local colleagues and friendly colleagues. If you have time, I mean, at this point we still have 2 more months. In March, the new Caapid cycle applies. If you have money, you have time, might as well give it a try. Why not? It's always room for improvement, and you'll be more confident if you have like 100 plus.
Yeah, exactly. If the school you're looking for, like it's like what Leo was saying, is that like some schools only require 90, some schools require 80. But if there's like the school you want to go to is 100 or above, guess what score you need? That's always tell everybody. Hey, like I always say, hey, why do you keep, like, you have so much other things to worry about? Why are you still focusing on TOEFL, right? As long as you meet the minimum requirement, you're fine. And then actually, here's another question somebody asked, is that the low GPA one. I want to answer this just because everybody asks me this too.
Yeah.
Right.
Good.
I personally have helped candidates. Like if you've seen like I have a little highlight in my Instagram, Acoustic Dentist, if you don't know yet, but it says like all the people who texted me that got accepted or sent pictures of them at Michigan or UCLA or USC. Some of them, I don't want to say who, but then some of them had pretty low GPAs, and I had a 2.5. They had lower than me. So like I'm saying, I've had people with 2.1, 2.2. I'm pretty sure I've had somebody in with a 2.0 before. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Right. And how do you compensate for it? Is your experience. Okay. I mean, Leo, do you have any suggestions on this as well?
Yeah. You nailed it with that one, my friend. So exactly. For example, you have a 2.0. Okay. So this is how you're going to start, and of course they're going to ask you about that too. And so, okay, what happened. You were not serious. It was a dental school. You were young. Things happen. Now you're, adult. Now you want to take responsibility. All right. So how are you going to fix it? Can you go maybe get a master's and get a master's in the United States? Why? You want to show them now you are studying in a United States college or school in the semester system. Getting a 4.0 is basically proving, okay, you know what? Whatever happened before, it was because I was not serious. But here you go. This is a 4.0. That means I can prove I can do better. If I can do it in a master's, I can also do it in a dental school. Besides that, also the experience. All right. That's where the next our topic is too. But I would definitely highly suggest a preceptorship or externship. Don't have to do like a 1 year or something, but that also shows, like now you're going to be working with school. You're going to be taking classes. You're going to be doing all the homework and assignments. Kill those, nail those down. You got to be the number one.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
how
Leo,
you.
another thing, if you're in those, this is what I had one student, I had like 3 preceptorships and these CE training courses hands-on at schools. When you go there, I talked to this another student the other day, make sure that you're a nice person too. I mean, like, you can't just go there and be like
Yeah,
lazy and be like, why would they want you? Remember, this is like a great way to talk to teachers who are in admissions who can recommend you. So if you're there and
I
not giving
personally
your
say
all, right?
when
Yeah.
you exactly when you're a
Yeah.
preceptorship or externship for 1 month, I tell you this is your 1 month of interview.
Yes.
1 month, you have a continued interview. Everyone's watching you. They are going to
Mm-hmm.
check if you're coming on time. You have a positive attitude. Are you like by 5 o'clock? Oh, I want to go home. When is this day going to be over? If you have that kind of attitude, they are watching. The assistants take all this news, go straight to the director. The residents watching you, the students watching you. This
Mm-hmm.
is your time to shine. This is your time to
Yeah.
tell them, hey, I want to be here. Okay? So
Mm-hmm.
this is the only way you can do it. Exactly. So masters, preceptorship, dental experience, dental assistant experience. Go to Florida, what I did, moved all the way to Florida and got a dental hygiene.
Hygiene.
I mean,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So all these things, CE courses, hands-on courses, you know, sky's the limit.
Mm-hmm. Actually,
So
I'm going to tell you something that came directly from Bralia. And
yeah,
actually, you know, every year or once or twice a year, ADIA actually hosts it's actually the people that you like admissions, and they say the things that me and Leo are actually saying. They say, what type of student are we looking for? And they say, it's not just one thing. It's not a TOEFL score. It's not a GPA. It's an overall profile. But
yeah,
they will say this, grades are important, but if you can prove to us you can handle college level education in the US, or that you're so well-rounded, or that since then you've matured or grown up, yes, they're going to give you that shot. And if they give you an interview, guess what? Just get ready to answer those questions. At Buffalo, they were really like, prove to me, because
mm-hmm.
like the guy said, I really want you here, but prove to me you want to be here. And I got accepted to Buffalo. And then another thing I was to say is, if you have a low GPA, try to get a letter of recommendation from that professor, or like, you know, from that subject teacher. If it's
Exactly.
periodontics,
Yeah.
I'm a periodontic professor. And while we took my class twice, that third time, I saw great maturity and improvement, because, you know, it's a comprehensive GPA. So those low grade classes are still going to show, right?
Yeah. And next question is, what score is considered a low GPA and what is the best way to compensate? The second part, how to compensate, we already covered it.
Mm-hmm.
What low GPAs, once again, I mean, I think the lowest is 2.0. A lot of schools, they ask to have 2.0. Below that, they're probably not going to let you in. But some schools are different. I don't know. I think some schools have.
I have one client who got accepted. It was one of my first 5 people I've ever worked with. That person had a 1.9 something GPA. I forgot how,
guys.
but
we have hope.
It's not impossible. It's one person, ever. But that's the only person I ever worked with who had a below 2.0 GPA. But let me tell you, it took us. She didn't. Oh, whatever. Okay, no, I know it's a he or she, but she didn't get in the first time we tried. She got in the second time we tried. But we changed a lot. I mean, we updated a lot of experiences. What's it called? She actually did do the hygiene. She got licensed for hygiene in Florida, but never practiced there. But it just showed she can take the test. I got a 1.9, but then I could take the test and I'm passing college level subjects or professional subjects in the United States. And I passed INBDE first attempt. So you have a low GPA in your home country, prove to them now that this version of you is ready for a college level education, right?
Exactly. All right. The next one is, if you have done assisting and shadowing in more than one office with significant amount of hours, will that make up for not having a preceptorship? Good question, actually.
Yeah.
So yes and a no. I'm a good example for that too. I have worked in, I think, 4, 5 offices working as a dental assistant in 2 years of span. So it was 4 months moving on to another office. I think I worked for a dental dentist and I worked for orthodontist, ended up with a periodontist. And after that, I moved to a preceptorship at University of Kentucky, 6 months in periodontics. So yes and no. Dental assisting, very good. Shadowing, very good. Of course, it gives you this experience that the dental committee want. They want to see if you can work in this, U.S. Style of dental office, working with the patient, compliance, communication, all that. But then preceptorship is a little different. Now you are working as a provider. Think about it. Like, it's one thing when you're assisting. It's another thing when you're working on a patient. Now, hold on before you guys say anything. There are different preceptorships. You have to find the right one. Some preceptorships only let you follow, observe. So I think you still have a better shot because you're still working with the faculty. You're still kind of showing them your positive attitude and personality. It's still better than dental offices. So I would say dental office, preceptorship, then a preceptorship that would let you work. Luckily, I worked as a resident at University of Kentucky. I had a limited dental license for 6 months. I was working, taking cases, putting implants, all the things under supervision, of course. But I also had to pay $30,000 in tuition.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the more sugar you put, the more sweeter it's going to get.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. I didn't take a preceptorship. I work with guys. So I love the preceptorship question too, just because like 80% of the candidates I work with didn't take a preceptorship. They don't have the money for it. They're single parents or they have 4 or 5 kids. So like, but I'm not like preceptorship is a good thing. It's going to stand out. It's just how you talk about it if you do. Because I had a guy who did preceptorship twice and didn't get any acceptances. How did he explain it? Oh, I shadowed. Okay, so it's a shadowing one. But and I tell people, it's like technically, and like, okay, did you do live work? Yeah. Why didn't you talk about that? You know what I mean? Did you do type on training? Yeah. Why didn't you talk about that? You just told me you're a dental assistant at a dental school, pretty much. That's what you pretty much said. And I had another guy who was a dental assistant in Indiana. He got it. He didn't get accepted his first cycle. The second cycle he did, but he explained it differently. He explained he was a leader. He was teaching undergrad students. But again, the first time he explained it, I was just a dental assistant. So be very detailed on how you explain your preceptorship. But if you don't, you don't have to take a preceptorship. There's a lot of schools that have it. People ask me which ones. Google dental preceptorship for international students. You'll find probably 25 of them. Right?
Exactly.
And I always, yeah. But do you need to? Absolutely. No, just, it's going to help if you have a low GPA. So again, it's profile dependent. If you have a low GPA, if you have, what's it called? 3 months worth of work experience in your home country or no work experience in your home country, it's probably going to help. Right? But again, I've had students except to Loma Linda recently who had no work experience in the home country, no preceptorship. They're just very community service oriented and they got accepted too. So again, case by case basis.
I totally agree with that. Yeah. Case by case basis, because I put preceptorship as the last resort. So first kill all the dental offices, assisting,
multi-specialty,
other exactly. And then let's say, for example, someone has this is your second cycle, third cycle. You have covered all your bases, and then this is the only thing left. Might as well take your chances and go for a preceptorship too. But don't just jump in right away, because if you haven't done dental assisting, do that first, and goes with the offices and all that too. We have a comment, says from Sanupta, I have 1 LOR from the dean of the dental school. LOR means a letter of recommendations for those who don't know. I am thinking to getting a 2nd LOR from my program director at a US grad school, and 3rd from my previous employer. What's better?
It depends. Leo, I want to go first on this one, because like I get asked all the time. Please. Like, guys, if you have like 4, like I think you can upload 5, and then some schools, if they want more, you can do additional letters of recommendation uploaded on the supplemental. So this is important because, guys, I think I failed the Buffalo bench test, and I thank my letters of recommendation for getting me into Buffalo, because it was like the dean of admissions. He was from Harvard. I forgot the name of him now, but he literally said that you failed your bench. Tell me why. That's the first question. And he goes, good. Oh, wow. I told him the truth. Like, I did bad on it. I'm surprised I'm here. Right. He asked me how I did. And then after that, he goes, did you read your letter of recommendation? And we literally just talked about my letter of recommendation. Then the interview went longer then it went to the regular interview questions. But then he goes, I'm going to pull for you. So that's why I say, guys, don't neglect your letters of recommendation. So like from who, it doesn't really matter. It's about what they say. You know what I mean? Like, but then again, if like for the US dentist, like again, if you have like 5 from your home country already, maybe add a US dentist there. So they won't like have any doubts or red flags. Like, okay, did he really work in the US? Not even one person said anything about him. But again, whoever you pick, I'd rather have them say the best thing about you. Like, oh, Leo changed our school's atmosphere, or he's one of the most community service oriented men I've ever met in my entire life, compared to he's a great student. He passed all our subjects.
Same on narrative, exactly.
Exactly, yeah. He's hardworking is the number one, like the word that we see so much in this whole thing.
Yeah. I think I totally agree with you. Once again, you nailed it. I'm from Pakistan too, and India. I totally understand what she's coming from. I was coming from the same background too. The higher the post, we always thought, ooh, director is giving you a recommendation.
Yeah.
That has to be you is going to get in, as compared to, oh, just like a peasant dentist is giving me what's going to do.
Yeah.
It's not about that. I promise you, if you got into a preceptorship and this program director of admissions gave you a letter as compared to someone else, it doesn't matter. What are they writing in that? Think about it. I personally asked my professors too. When I was doing a preceptorship, I went to my dean, of course, well, I'm working with you, periodontics. I want you to write me a letter of recommendation. You know what he said? No. I was really upset first. I was like, really? You don't want to give me? I was like, if I would give you a recommendation letter, I don't even know you, like, at this point. What would I write?
Yeah.
I'll write, oh yeah, very good, hardworking student. Yeah, good.
The generic template, right?
The generic work. That's not going to help you. I want you to go to someone and write a letter that should write a letter, or who will write a letter for you, who actually know you as a person. Like Justin said, as compared to if you have been working as a dental assistant to someone and they write a letter saying, oh, you know what, Sanukta, right? Sanukta have been working from day one to my office. My office environment has changed. She has been the leader. My office will shut down if she would not come to office.
Yeah.
That's a good recommendation letter, guys.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. So it's not about the HOD, the LO from the director or the blah, blah. It's about who actually can vouch for you. That this person is how my whole team, is positive. She's a team leader. She's always happy with the patients, patient lover. They always want to see her. I want her to be in my office all the time. If she will go to your school, oh my God, your school is really lucky, because she's going to change the program environment over there too. See, this is how you write a letter recommendation. So, Sanukta, you tell me, or you close your eyes and tell me if that LOR from a dental school or the dental school from the U.S. grad school, who actually knew you better? How many? Exactly.
Wait, actually, Leo, here's the one. Who's going to sit down and say because they care about you so much? So I remember one from the U.S. and then even one from the Philippines for me. They sat down and say, what do you want me to highlight about you? Because like that. If you have someone like that, hey, it's an open canvas pretty much, and that's going to get you. And I've had a guy who worked just regular general dentist, but he goes I've worked with 40 dental assistants in the past 20 years of my career, and I can tell you, Leo or Justin is one of the most outstanding individuals. It's a mixed emotions that I write this, because losing him would be like losing a part of my family. Guess who they're gonna There
we go.
Yeah, right? Someone reading that is oh wow, this is I got to see this guy in person type of thing. And I'll tell you, from professors who actually read your LORs, they said that sometimes the LOR got them, and that they wrote a sucky personal statement. So it really depends on who's reading your profile.
That too.
Yeah,
it's not the statement who got them, it's the LORs that got them. Exactly.
It depends. Yeah. Buffalo, they said my letter of recommendation got me in, and I got accepted to Buffalo. So I always tell people that, again, always try hard on everything. I have a great personal statement. I don't need anything else, right? I'm good to go, right? So I would say, act like the last your time you're ever going to apply. It's only one time, and that hard for it. I want to pay another couple next year, apply again.
Exactly. So Sanukta, I think you asked a second question. We'll answer that one too. Getting an LOR from a U.S. faculty or the second LOR from a dental school in your home country. So you decide which one is whoever can write better. Somia is asking, to improve profile, which is better option, master's or preceptorship? That's another good one. Always being asked. Justin, I'll let you go first.
Okay, so here's one thing, guys. Every consultant I talked to when I was applying, because remember, they really just I was about to not apply. I only applied to 6 schools just because they told me I wouldn't get in, right? 2.5 GPA, multiple MBA tips, say, hey, don't even try, take a master's degree. So ever since then, I tell every single one of my students, and if they're probably not hearing me, but they all got accepted. And here's one thing. Every single student I worked with last cycle got accepted. You can message anybody you want, right? You'll find out, okay? You can't find anyone who didn't get accepted who worked with me in a complete profile. And I tell them the same thing, is I tell people, if you want to do a master's and learn from it, do it. But if you don't like it, you're gonna be bored for 2 years and spend 30 grand, 20 grand for it. Don't do it, right? Unless you have a 1.2 GPA or unless that's your only route, your only way of creativity, then do it. But I mean, if it's only between those two, then do preceptorship. I mean, like I've heard like preceptorship, you're hands-on dental school. You can say that you're at a college level dental education, learning advanced cases, comprehensive treatment planning. You're there every day talking to diverse faculty, right? So that's my opinion. What do you think?
So I have an MPH too. I have an MPH, and now I've done a preceptorship before I get into dental school. So I think once again, it's about how, of course they're going to ask you, okay, so you did an MPH. I've gotten this question all the time. What did you learn from that? Okay, so why did you do MPH if you wanted to do it
exactly?
You know, so I always tell them, okay, so it's all about preventative dentistry for me too, right? So when I was doing a master's in public health, I wanted to learn about the public health sector, the preventative part side of dentistry. Then you come on the clinical side and treatment and everything. So I wanted to have a background of public health, and I wanted to be on the clinical side. Now everyone's different. I'm just saying, if you have to choose, depending, what's your motive? What's the end goal, guys? What's the end goal? If doing MPH just to improve your profile and not more, then do a preceptorship. It's more clinical oriented. It's with dental school, dental oriented. You're working with the same faculty, same students. If you are doing masters for the sake of maybe getting a better job, or maybe you're not going to get into dental school right away. Maybe you're going to get married, you have a kid, then masters will open some other doors. But if you're just doing for the sole masters of
getting dental school,
just to get into dental, then maybe don't do masters, because masters not going to get you any closer as compared to, like, having some dental related clinical experience like preceptorship. That's what I think.
Absolutely. And exactly what Lee was saying is that, like, I've had students, I have an MPH, Justin, I have multiple specialty experience. Why am I not getting in? It's because like, for example, like they actually got interviews too. And I say, hey, let's hear it. Why'd you do MPH? I always ask them that question first every time I see the MPH, right? And then they go, like, so how'd you tell me how you answered it in your interview? And they go like this, oh, because like I want to get, someone messed up and said it's because I want to get into dental school, right? And that's what I needed. Wrong, right? Another one's, I want to further my education. Okay, it's okay. But again, with someone like Leo, if he says something like, I want to use my MPH because I want to apply it to the dental field. I want to know about what's affecting public health care in the United States of America so I can make an impact through dentistry. And that's why now I'm applying to your program. Guess who's going to get into dental school? Which one, right? Now they know why you did it. But if you don't want to do MPH, guys, I wouldn't recommend it if your profile's already decent, unless, again, the GPA thing could help. But then if your GPA is 2.5, I got it with it.
Yeah, but remember what we said earlier, everyone's different. So if your profile really low GPA, then an MPH is going to help you. And now you're proving something. Now you have a goal, right? Now you're not just doing an MPH just to get improving your profile. Now you have a goal to prove them. You got to do a 4.0 in masters because you had a low GPA, and that's your goal. So everyone's different, okay? Related to that, another question that being asked all the time, DDS versus residency versus AGD GPR, which one's better? What should we do? What should we not do? Why this? Why that?
Great. That's another question. Again, almost everybody who talks about like what should I do depends on where you want to practice. I think that's the biggest thing. If you only like for me, like, if someone wants to, like, someone tells me, Justin, I only want to practice in California, I don't want to go anywhere else, my family's here, I never want to move, then you probably can't do GPR or residency, but you can do the Mexico program, De La Salle. That's La Salle. It's a 2-year program, foreign dentist, but you can only practice in California, right? Another thing is, what's it called? So which one, depending on what state, because my brother, he's a Philippine dentist too. He's in Tufts for perio. He's about to graduate. And he can only practice, I think, in, is it 7 states, guys? I forgot how many states. Is it 7 or 8 states or something?
7 or 8, yes.
Yeah. You're going to practice in a few states. So again, do whatever you feel like is going to, if you only want to get to one of those 7 states, or you don't want to care, you want to be a dentist. Again, there's reciprocity. You worked there for 5 years. You can work in other states too. So that's my 2 cents on that. How about you, Leo?
So I would say the same thing. Start with DDS, of course. It will let you work everywhere. That's why I wanted to do it. Personally, I did not want to do residency. When I did my preceptorship with periodontics, all my friends and around, okay, so you have a great chance of getting into perio. And then I saw the third year residents about to graduate, and they're like freaking out because there are no jobs available. The only states they could work in Ohio or Iowa and Illinois, and they did not want to go there. And I was like, oh my God. So after all this year and 3 years and all the CDC exams and everything, still it's going to be like one of those things. What if I wanted to, I want to be in California. I want to be in New York. I want to be in Florida. What about that? What if, you know, my wife gets a really good job or my family wants to go somewhere else? We won't be able to do it.
In 5 years,
exactly.
They can though. In 5 years, right?
Yeah.
It's the thing. It's the reciprocity. So after you practice in a state for 5 years, you can move. Yeah.
And the second thing that got me is, Justin, 4 years ago, there were 14 states. Every year, laws. Yeah, every year the laws are changing. So what guarantees by the time I'm going to graduate in 4 years, 3 years, those 8 years turn into 5 or 4 or 1? We don't know. So that's why, you know, it's very important for you. Number 2, some people, for example, from my country, I have a professor, endodontist, 20 years. He's been doing root canals and he did not want to do anything else. So if you want, you're someone like this, who are orthodontist, endodontist, and want to continue with that, residency is for you. If you want, you know, a general dentist degree, even though you're endodontist from your country, hot shot, I know, but at this point you're like, you know what, general dentistry is more than enough for me, then DDS. The third thing is, I would tell this to, you know, because it's, since the topic's there, it's very hard to get into the residency programs. Why? Because when you're applying for a DDS program, guys, you are competing with your own foreign trained doctors, right? When you're applying for a residency program, now you're competing to the US dentist, the US DDS. So when you're applying for DDS, let's say you're applying for UIC, you have 54 seats. You're applying to Boston, you have 90, 95 seats. I think this year they have 100. If you're applying to periodontics, there are 3 seats.
4, 8, 2,
or 4, 6 seats. You're applying to ortho, you have like 6 seats. Now you're applying to the best, to the cream, the top crop, you know? So don't, I'm not saying don't apply. I'm just saying it is more competitive. So you got to have like a stellar profile to compete that. A lot of people also want to go with AGD and GPR. I just want to tell you, some people, you know, once again, it's one of those things where if you do 1 year of AGD, you can apply, I think in Virginia, I think that's the only state where it'll let you practice as a dentist. If you do 2 years of AGD or GPR, you can also go for the same 8 or 9 states. But like I said, totally depends on what do you want to do. It's a 2-year program. Do you still want to do it? Not want to do it? All that. Let's go for some questions. This is Arpan. Thank you for all great info. I'm a graduate of 2005. I have 10 years of non-dental experience. I'm applying now. Should I do preceptorship or dental shadowing?
I had a client like that actually. But it was like so more than 10, 15 years. Again, she applied 6 years in a row, didn't get accepted. But again, Tanya, if you're in the US and you have a green card, I would probably do more, in this case, probably a preceptorship, but also dental assisting is fine. Even hygiene probably be good too. Just show that, because I know what they're going to ask you in the interview. If they do offer you an interview, is you haven't touched the high speed in like 20 something years, or like almost 15 years, right? Can you prove to me how you're ready for dental school? And then if you can't answer that question now, if you're looking at your own profile, that's what you should ask yourself. What should you take if you want to show there's no red flags in those 15 years or so, right?
Exactly. I'm a graduate of 2007, by the way, guys.
Oh, wow.
2007. Wow. Yeah. So I'm not like really far away from you, Arpan. And then I also came to the United States. I did my master's in public health. And then I went all the way other side. I was working for a gastroenterologist as a manager. So yeah, totally opposite. So think about it. When I came back to it, all started like, 0-2. So I know it's going to be tough first. I would suggest what I did, I could be wrong, but start with the dental shadowing first. Get used to the whole dental office field, how you talk to the patient, everything, and from there onwards, start looking for preceptorships. If you can find something in your state, that will be great. If you find something in your school, in your city, that'll be great. Instead of going somewhere else, at least do 1 year to 2 years of dental shadowing assisting first. Then you should apply for the preceptorship after that.
Exactly.
We have another, Ruth is asking, how do we get help from you guys? We will definitely talk about this right in the end. I will let Justin talk about all the services that he provides, all right? Next one is Urban talking about, okay, we already covered that. Let's do another one. I graduated, no, we did that too. Subramani, is there any difference in getting jobs if you directly do a residency or do a residency after DDS? No.
Actually, yeah, exactly. I was gonna say the same thing. I can answer that directly. I'm currently a general dentist working in a pediatric dental company now, and I make the same exact amount as a specialist does, and we do the same exact work. So it depends, guys. Here's the thing is, I mean, I've had some, so pretty much like they were advanced. So I had some of my colleagues that were advanced standing, and then they did pediatric residency. So they did what, 4 years, 4.5 years of schooling. I did too. So depends if you want to stay in school longer, yeah. But then it depends on what you want to do. If you just want to do directly residency and go for it, great. But again, like what Leo said, it might be more difficult still too. Okay, to get into that program. But I've had some people like they shadowed the program, they still got in. The best way to get in, because like my brother went straight to residency. I had like 4 candidates straight into, actually more than 4 actually this year. Endo, ortho. There's this ortho school in the South. I forgot, in Texas. They just, or Louisiana. They do specifically just ortho, like 10 chairs. But if you know you want to specialize already, I would work for an actual specialty program, extern there. Ask the program, can I shadow or become an assistant there? Guess you're going to be interviewing every single day and you get paid for it.
Right.
That's what I'm just saying. Yeah, if they like hanging out with you. Because pretty much this is what they told me. In a residency program, they're pretty much thinking, can I hang out with this guy for the next 2 years? It's not about your grades and stuff as much as it was in advanced standing.
That's what I learned from preceptorship too. I think when it comes to residency, guys, think about it. Only 5 people, 6 people. It's a very close family. Then it's all about, can I, sustain this person for 3 years? Is he like positive? Is he nagging? I don't like their personality. So then it's a different vibe. Now you gotta, think like you're trying to make like a really good friend for 3 years. Because think about it, we spend more time with our coworkers than our families. So this is very important too. So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a team lead, a person who's like positive, who is get down to business, but also like taking care of everything too. So if you're not like a team lead, you're not like a team player, then probably not a good fit. We have Sanokia saying, what would you suggest to improve clinical experience in the United States? I'm on F1 and cannot work as a dental assistant. There are no community clinics where I live, so I live so hard to hunt for dental assistant opportunities. On F1, Sanokia, you can still observe for free, shadowing. You can do that.
Exactly. Actually, another thing is like exactly, and this is one thing that I get a lot. Oh, I can't find any experience. No one's gonna give me a job. Ask how many you call. Like I called the 5 in my area. Here's what I did when I wanted a job. I applied for 30 different jobs, and I called. And then if I didn't get a reply because my first just moved here, so no experience, right? I called them directly. Oh, we'll transfer you. Guess what? 10 offered me an interview. So guys, if you're not getting any spots, try harder. Call more.
You know what I did? Yeah. Once I came back, I printed out my resume like 150 pages, and I did not went to Indeed or Craigslist. I just went to I Googled it, the dentist office around me. There were like 20. I went to every door, tick, tick, tick. Hello, this is my resume. I'm looking to observe only, and that's it. If you guys want some help, free help, everybody wants some free help, guys. Come on. And out of 150, only 6 called me back. 6. But you know what? You just need 1 yes. You don't need like 150 yeses. So try more. Go to private offices. When you offer free help, no one's going to say no. Come on. Yeah. So try harder, okay? We have another one, graduated at 2020. Oh, the COVID era. 1 year experience on my country, 1 year dental assistant in the US. IMBD, first STEM, 60 hours community service, 3.2 GPA. What do you guys think of this profile? I think, Justin, you get these questions a lot, huh?
Okay, yeah, sorry. I get profile. Oh my gosh, profile consultations. I kind of want to show you guys my phone. I think there's like 500 unread messages right now. Okay, so okay. I like your GPA, 60 hours community service, 1 year dental assistant in my home country. Again, guys, I like profiles. I mean, from what I've seen, you don't have a TOEFL score. IMBD temp, first temp, great, but I don't see your like 1 year work experience. Was it multi-specialty? Was it a big corporation? Was it private practice? What type of work did you do? These are things they're going to be asking, guys. This is like, I've sat down with professors on admissions committees, and they like, okay, so like if you guys, what you guys put on Caapid, what you guys showing there, they're going to say things like this. So did you do, what technology did you use? How many dentists did you assist? Was it high volume? Was it just, did they refer everything out? Things like that. What type of community service was it? Did you just volunteer at your church? Did you do like 20 different volunteer things? Did you actually lead the volunteer? What was your personal statement? What are your letters of recommendation?
Yeah,
overall,
exactly.
But saying what you say, 3.27, 1 year dental assistant, 1 year experience home country. That sounds like my profile. But I have a lower GPA, so
right?
I have a lower GPA than you. Yeah.
One thing I would like to add. So you're a graduate of 2020. That means when you graduated, it was COVID. You did not get see a lot of patients. That means your dental experience is a little low as compared to someone else. I mean, how many root canals did you do? How many surgeries did you do? You know what I'm saying? After that, you came to the United States, you did 1 year dental assistant, still assisting. So I think at this point, if you can get more clinical experience, get TOEFL. I don't know if you have TOEFL or not. And then, I mean, have you applied? Are you planning to apply this cycle to 2023? I mean, these are all the questions you need to tell us. Abdurrahim is asking, would you say achieving an online preceptorship is better than not having one? All the in-person preceptorships are later, or all of them are later in the year, unless you guys know any are open right now.
Okay, I can answer that one. I had one student,
Please.
She did an online preceptorship, right? I think it was UCLA, and it was for perio program, I believe. I actually had another one did online preceptorship. It depends. I mean, it's not as good as something that's hands-on, right? And if you just did like you did the lectures online, again, it's not going to look as good. So it's really a tough thing, because I'm like, okay, imagine you getting interviewed and they ask you specifically that, because I've been a few interviews. Leo's been in a few interviews. They're going to ask specifically, okay, so what did you take away from that experience? I shadowed. I attended classes with them, right? Exactly. You know what I mean? I attended classes with them, right? What are you gonna say? But then if you were in person, I did type-it-on training. I worked directly with residents. I actually did case presentations. I learned how to formulate research. I mean, you can kind of say that virtually, but remember, now everybody did virtual studying. The professors did virtual studying. Yeah, exactly. So what do you think about a virtual education nowadays, guys?
So it's all about that, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one. I graduated in 2002. I have only 1 year experience in my country. I moved to United States in 2006, and I have been working as a dental technician for 16 years and volunteering as a dental assistant for 1. And the part 2 of this question is, also have GPA 3.93. I applied last year and I did not get an invite. Well, welcome to the family. First year, first time, didn't get an invite, boo-hoo. Apply again, no worries.
Yep.
You know, happens all the time. What do you think, Justin?
Yes. Okay, guys. People have reached out to me in their first cycle. Some have reached out to me in their 5th cycle. So again, guys, actually, here's one. I think Monique, she's actually watching this. She said, actually, I checked my phone. She sent me a text message that says, "Hey, Pogi." It means, "Hey, handsome." But if you see, she's in my latest post. She got into, I think, two or three schools. She only applied to like 4, but guess what? Last year, she got 14 rejections. And she actually, you know, Monique, if you're watching this, she reached out to me. The first cycle she goes, "Oh, you know what? I don't feel like it." And then second cycle, she goes, "I'm desperate. I'll do whatever it takes." Right. So now she's happily at Minnesota today. And you see her Instagram, follow her. She has a whole bunch of selfies. So again, never stop trying, guys. Okay. That's what I always keep saying. If it's really your dream, you'll never give up on it. You don't want to be on your deathbed and be like, "I wish I tried." You know what I mean? Yeah. I wish I tried one more time. You know what I mean?
I have, just for you, I have 21 rejections. I have 21 rejections. Wow. I'm about to make a TikTok about this where rejection. Justin knows, he knows me from last year when I've been like, "Oh my God, Justin, I got another rejection."
I remember.
And every time I had this, Justin was like, "All right, Leo, did you apply to this school?" And at this school, I was like, "I'm going to apply, I'm going to get rejected." I was like, "Don't worry, do it." Then we apply, and I get another rejection. Hey, Justin, I got rejected. No worries, Leo. Have you applied this school? Apply this school.
No.
Deadline is not there yet. He was always the one pushing me. He's always the one getting me motivated. So you know what? 27th time, I got a yes. And you know,
there you go.
In the great words of Dr. Stevenson, you know what's the best school in the world? The one that says acceptance to you and say yes to you. That's it. You just need one yes, my friend. Keep applying, keep getting. It's just the first year. About that, by the way, I've noticed that too. Justin might agree with me. Some schools say no to you for the first time on purpose. They kind of want to see the perseverance now. They want to see the resilience. They want to see if he's going to come back and if he's going to be better or she's going to be better. So I was doing my interview at Loma Linda, and Loma Linda professors were, I had a feeling where they were like, whoever was applying the second time, that was their second time, everyone got in. I'm not kidding. So I think it's a thing where, like, you know, when you're applying second time, hey, guess what? Now you have more experience. Now you know how the system works. Now you know the interior system, the bench exams and all that. So now you go with like even better like power and resilience and show them like, you know what? I'm going to keep coming until you give me a seat.
Okay. Actually, I actually kind of agree with that. And I'll tell you, like, just actually from someone from admissions at UIC, they said something like this. They don't prefer, like, it's better. Like, I have students who are applying like December. Like, is it too late? I say, hey, just apply. Do you know why? Because even if you don't get in this cycle, next cycle, they're gonna ask you like, hey, so, okay, what if you don't get next cycle? Or they just want to see your motivation for keep trying. And the thing about that is that if it's down to 5 candidates, like UIC is 52 seats, right? And there's 5 or 6 candidates they're looking at the end of it, if you guys are so close together, they're going to pick the people, it's their second cycle. That's what they say. They're going to pick who is their second cycle. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Deparia, my profile, 60 hours of community service, preceptorship, 9 months. I want to know what preceptorship was it? TOEFL 106, currently assisting in 2 dental offices, 2 years of home country experience, graduated in 2019. What do you think of my profile? A very good average profile. Like I said, you know, everyone is doing this now, guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if like I talk about like diversity, maybe if I'm getting a class where I don't have someone who is a new graduate, I might take you. You'll be the top one. But if I've already taken 2 or 3 girls and guys like you, maybe now I want someone with a master's or someone with like a 10 year of endo experience. You know what I'm saying? So it's really hard to tell you how your profile is. The only thing I can tell you is right now, if everything checks out, I think you're ready to apply this coming cycle. And good luck and see how it goes.
Yeah, actually, just for Leo's, what he was saying is that, guys, if you have everything ready already, like, and you're just the basic pro, apply. Don't say, should I wait next year? If it was me, I would never wait next year. I'm just going to get older.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's another year where
a lot of people do that. I'm going to hold off. I know someone who, a really good friend of mine, she's like, I'm going to hold off. Everything's right. I was like, you have everything. Why aren't you applying? No, I think I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
So, no, don't do this, guys. You do not know how good your profile is until you apply. You know what I'm saying? Don't listen to us sitting over here now talking about, unless you want to apply, you would not know, right? All right, we have another one. Since I have too many questions, is it possible to have one-on-one meeting with you guys? After this, I'm definitely gonna put in Justin's email, but you can also contact him at Acoustic Dentist. We all know him.
Instagram,
Instagram. So definitely, he can help you. You can reach out to me at my YouTube and Insta. We can help you too, and get that one-on-one session. All right. Next one is Amira. I have a master's in anatomy from the Ohio State and passed both boards first time. I have a 107 TOEFL, but have not done any clinical experience yet. What do you think of my resume, please? So I guess you already answered my question. You need more experience, right? What do you think, Justin?
Okay, so I have master's in anatomy. I passed both boards first time and have a TOEFL 107 and not done any clinical experience. I think it's great. I mean, okay, the clinical experience thing, I mean, if you've talked to any of my candidates before, some of them have 2 months experience, 1 month experience, and they went straight to the United States. Do you think it's going to be different than someone with no experience? Probably not. You know what I mean? You're 1 month and you've been here a couple of years. I always tell people that it depends on the school you're applying to, because some don't care about your experience. You know what I mean? They just want to know if that means you're more moldable, right? Some don't care. So I would just say that you have the TOEFL, you have that. What I'm really asking you is, what's your US resume look like, right? Besides your master's in anatomy, right? Great, but then and like, do you know what a dental school? What dental school is like in the United States? Do you know what treatment planning is like in the United States? That's what they're really gonna ask you. Can you fit into our system? So what's your resume like? What's your personal statement? Your letters of recommendation? Remember, overall profile, guys. So everyone was asking me about these GPAs and all these things. Like, I don't know your overall profile. So like me and Leo, we can't really give you the best scenario. But if you meet the minimum, as long as you don't have a below 2.0, as long as you don't have like 25 NBDE attempts, right? I've had people in with 3 first part 1s and 3 part 2s. Some of the students you've seen on my like highlight where they got accepted to schools, they have 3 or 4 NBD attempts. So like I keep saying, guys, it's all main personal statement, letters of recommendation, and different experiences. So like everyone's going to show us their profile, I bet, and the GPA. Like I've had people who are 2.5 get accepted over people who are 3.8 GPA. So again, it's overall profile, guys. Okay.
Yeah. Asma is asking, I have 3 years gap in my resume because I'm a mom of 2 kids. Does it matter in my resume? Ooh, that's a good question.
What was the question? Okay.
So question is, I have a 3-year gap in my resume because I'm a mom of 2 kids. Does it matter in my resume? So question, what kind of gap is it? Is it like you're just not working at all? You were a mom? I mean, I totally understand. Were you working some kind of, other stuff? Were you still, I always tell my, students, if you have a gap and you're not working, at least be learning. You know where I'm coming from? See courses and online courses and conferences and more conferences. So then you can always say, well, I was not working, but I was investing in myself. So I want to know a little bit more about what kind of gap is it? It does matter. I would not say it matters like really a big part, but yes, it does matter. A lot of schools say that. I had the same problem. And actually one school replied to me, because every time I get rejection, I always email the program director back like, hey, okay, I understand I got rejection, but can you please tell me why so I can work on it? And I usually never get an email, but I think there was one school, I think it was Oklahoma, if I'm correct. And they actually got back to me like, hey, you know what, Maktoum, you have this and this and this and this. And one of them were having gap in my resume. So my thing was, again, what happened. You don't have a time machine to go back and change it, right? So now start now. Okay, well, gap happened, but now see, after that, now I'm putting twice the work as compared to once as other people. Like, now I'm not only working but investing myself and doing this and that, and show them like you care, you still care, you still want this. How bad you want it? That's the question.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. So here's one thing, guys. I'm going to tell you that. Do you have to mention the gap? Do you have to like highlight the gap if they ask you what's your weakness in your profile? I always tell people, guys, do you want to, like, if you're in a job interview and you're going to interview a candidate, do you want the candidate to say, here's all my weaknesses, I'm going to list it all right now, or do you want to highlight your strengths? So if they don't ask specifically about it, like, I would just try to fill in with your current experiences currently. You don't have to say 3 years here and there, or like just don't try to highlight it. But if you want, I mean, like, you can ask me or Leo after this thing about how to kind of fill in that gap thing, because we work with different types of candidates. So if ever, you can just reach out to us and we can do our best to help you.
Fantastic. There's another one. Depriya is asking, does ADAT score matter in Caapid application? I think 95% schools write that in their Caapid in bold. If you have ADAT, we don't care.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, I didn't know the best way to explain that, but you said it perfectly.
Yeah, so as long as your school wants ADAT score, and some schools do, it doesn't matter. That's what
I think. One or two. I think 1 or 2 schools. One school cares about it preferred. The one school says, it's just preferred, right? And one's like, we accept it, but we don't give it. We don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. All right. What are Adrina is asking, what are the ways to improve and be better at the next cycle? Right now I'm working as a hygienist and I can't take time off from my job. You are already working, my friend, as a hygienist. That's it. Here we go. I'm working as a hygienist too. I started in May. I moved all the way from Illinois, Missouri area just to work as a hygienist because I think that was the only thing left, to check off, and I wanted to give it a shot. I think personally it helped a lot because once again, you have to, not only that, you have to sell yourself to, like Justin said, you are working as a hygienist, but looks like you're not confident. Now you're working as a provider. Now you're working on the patient. Now you're talking to the patients. Now the patients can give you reviews, right? So this is very important. Now you're not only your dentist is seeing you working in the dental office, he's also seeing you working with the patients. How that relationship is going, how your patients love you. If you have any Google reviews, take a screenshot and put it, like send it to the admission committee. What I'm saying is, what are the ways improving? Working as a hygienist is already, you're improving now, as compared to how you were not improving. Yes, you cannot take time off. What about the weekends? Can you do CE courses online? Can you do some other stuff? Can you do volunteers stuff on the weekends? Weekends you're off, right? So like I said, you can keep putting more sugar and keep it sweeter and sweeter and keep trying and keep trying. Yeah. Justin, what do you think?
Yeah. Okay. So again, right now work as hygienist and wait, so you're a hygienist. Okay, guys. I mean, okay, all my candidates got accepted from last cycle. It was a lot. Actually, if you look at UIC, ask probably half of them, they probably were my client, right? So again, if you're a hygienist, you're probably gonna get into dental school. Let's just say that, okay? I know that for a fact. I've had hygienists where they just change a few things. It's most likely, I'm gonna tell you now, it's probably how you presented your profile. If you're a hygienist, or if you're a hygienist or MPH, how you presented your profile, or just maybe it's how you inputted things into Caapid. Maybe you had your LORs were all lame. So it just depends on who's reviewing your profile. Because remember, that's why I said try everything. Don't just get template LORs. You know what I mean? I know actually my classmate at UIC said that they asked the school specifically asked me to get another LOR from our dean. So that's how much that mattered to them. So they care about you as a candidate. You just gotta show them. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm going to talk about dental hygiene and RDH. I do get a lot of questions about it. At this point, you can, if you don't want to go to school or back to hygiene school, the only state lets you do it without going to school is Florida. Sucks to suck, I know, but this is the only state as of right now. If you have to pass your national board's IMBD, once you pass IMBD, you can contact the Florida Health Department, send them your scores, send them your exams. Then you have to fill out a form. I think it's a $150 fee. They will send you the requirements. Then you have to pass the Florida law. You have to pass the CDC exam, hygiene exam, and the CDC boards. Once you pass all those, you will get the license. Now, hold off. If you're not a green card holder or you're not a citizen, you cannot get a license. I'm sorry. This has been asked a lot. But yes, you can still pass the exam. Let's say if you don't have a green card right now, but you will in the process, you can still pass the exam. And once you get your social security, then you can apply for the license. If you have a green card or citizenship, then yes, you can get a license. You can come to Florida. If you are already in the process and you need a job, come to Tampa, Florida. I got you. All right. There's another one, Aluwa Twin. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, my friend. Are there any tips to getting into hygiene license with INBDE? Well, INBD is a requirement to get hygiene. So I don't know. I didn't understand your question, but I guess after you get your INBD, you have to get into a hygiene license. The 3 exams I told you, you have to give them too.
Yeah, I think, because I know I was about to take the hygiene thing. So you just submit your boarding scores, and then you take the hygiene ethics exam, and then you take the hygiene what's it called, practical test. And you don't even have to take it in Florida. I've heard you can take it in California. You can take it in different states.
I took it in Missouri when I was there. Yeah. Because now it's mannequin, so it's very easy.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. This one is Seema from Loma Linda. Do they accept both WES and ECE, or they prefer WES evaluation? I think they do both. I'm not sure. Don't take my word on it. But I think this is Go on. Sorry.
Okay, guys. So that's a good question, because I know everybody knows, right? I think most people who've done this before, they already know that that WES is actually more, it's always going to give you, most of the time, it's going to give you a higher, right? It's going to give you a higher, right? It's gonna be a
GPA,
higher
GPA.
GPA than
I've
everyone
heard of
else.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Actually, hey, I'm gonna share my screen with everybody real quick, because this might help everybody. Okay. Wait.
See if you can do that.
Wait, how do I share my screen here? A window. There we go. All right, guys. If you go on Adia's website, because everyone has all these questions, and like, guys, me and Leo, like, especially, I think Leo's in Delaware right now. Yeah, right. And then, like, the thing is, guys, we get asked, like, if you're gonna ask certain questions, like, there's a lot of stuff that's free online. Look what this says: ECE required, not accepted, accepted. So this is going to help you guys. Just look at this: Adia, Caapid. This is straight from Adia, so we're not just lying to you here. If you guys want, go straight to the source. It even shows how many seats each school has. Because sometimes people expect me to know everything, but then again, guys, I know just from experience of certain schools. But again, look, here's UPenn has 50 seats. This is going to help you guys, and it even shows you. This is how I game plan my thing. I need to get supplemental for UPenn ready by this date, this date, this date, this date. Here are my priorities. So again, here's another good resource for you that can answer most of your questions. Okay, and for example, if it was me, would I apply to a school with only 2 seats? Probably not. 5 seats? Probably not. 10? Maybe. Right? 35? Definitely. 52? Exactly. Definitely. Right? So if you ask how many schools should I apply to, which school should I apply to, find out what's best for you in your situation. That's what I would always say. You know, the more seats, the more odds. If you're a U.S. citizen, some schools prefer U.S. citizens. Okay.
Sanukia is asking, some schools like UIC and UPenn mentioned they accept applicants from non-citizens or hold a valid visa that allows them to study. Does this include F1 visa holders?
I can answer this one because I'm at UIC. All right.
Of course.
I get asked this a lot. Okay, here's something that Braulio has sent to me personally and has sent emails to some of my clients, right? Can you work in the United States? Yes. Good. You can apply to UIC. All right. There we go. They just prefer green card holders. So if for example, if you're here on a tourist visa, you can't apply to UIC. You know what I mean? So if you're here, if you're like, I guess, I don't know exactly what visa, but it says, oh, as long as you can work here or study here, that's it. But usually it's like the tourist visa thing that they won't accept. Or if you have to go back to your home country. But I know some people are on like spousal visas, something like that, where they can still work here. They have like a social, things like that. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, exactly. All right. Let's see. Ruth is saying she's in Tampa working as a hygienist too. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Perfect. Ibrahim is saying, how long does it take to complete the whole process for the Florida hygiene? Start to finish, I would say two and a half months. If you can travel and come to Florida right away. A lot of offices don't even ask for license. That's because as soon as you pass the exam, you get that number, and that's more than enough to get a job offer right away. All right, what is Ruth is asking? F1 is student visa. They can't work to my knowledge. Well, F1, you can work 20 hours on campus, not off campus. That's how it works. All right, I'm going to quickly touch on one more question. Home edition TOEFL. So, Justin, TOEFL as compared to home edition, which one is better, this one or the other one?
I mean, okay, I have a lot of clients who take all, but from what I've heard, I heard the home TOEFL is a little more difficult. I don't know. I've only taken the testing center one. So it really depends on you guys. I mean, I've had one student who did better on the home one, but he took it like 5 times. So it really depends on what each person is different. Some people are introverts, some are extroverts. Some are good clinically, some are good theoretically. So it depends on what's better for you. Some people can only take the home one or something, I guess, because maybe there's no testing center near their house. I guess that's the big thing, you know.
I think this home edition came out during COVID, and at that time, of course, since everybody's stuck at home, there was an option. But I've seen now schools are getting back out one by one, that they're saying no more home edition is no more accepted. So I think at this time it's safe to say go back to the traditional one, because you don't want to have a home edition get like 102 or 106 only to find out your school is not accepting it. Now you have to get back to the old one anyways. That's the only thing I think.
I agree. Right. I agree. Always set yourself up for success. Like, again, and like some people didn't like apply to certain schools, but then that's the schools they got into the second cycle when they actually applied to it, like what Lee was talking about earlier. Again, so again,
Exactly.
guys, yeah, just always try your best on every aspect of the application. And guys, if people are gonna ask me when should I start applying, start preparing right now, because like that cycle opens in like what, 2 months.
2
So I
months,
mean,
May,
yeah,
May
2 months,
10th.
yeah, make it happen. If every week you're not working on your profile or trying to improve it somehow, then you're falling behind your competition. Because I tell all my
Yeah,
clients to start working on it, start getting more community service, start getting multi-specialty in every specialty if you can. Okay.
for sure, for sure. Couple of more questions, guys. Then we're gonna probably head out. Thank you, Justin, for your time too.
Yeah.
Depriya is asking, my TOEFL score expires in July 23. Do you think I need to take or retake TOEFL for this cycle? So it depends. Your school is in deadlines in June or deadlines in September?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you
So
submitted the Caapid before the deadline, it should be fine. Some schools will make an exception. You can just email them and they'll let you know. But I wouldn't wait till then to do it. Like just try submitting your profile by March or whenever the school if the school opens early before that. Most should be open before that, right? Like I don't think anyone opens after July, or do they?
I mean, some schools
Oh wait,
go late. For example,
Colorado, yeah,
Colorado,
Loma
Washington.
Linda, right? No,
Yeah,
yeah.
Loma Linda I think starts early, but then they end at like August or something. Yeah. So depending, I mean, what school are you applying to? Are you applying to Colorado? They start in January or December. Are you applying in Nova? They start in December too. You're applying in Colorado, Washington. They are late. Mehari late. If you're applying to, like I don't know, UPenn or something, they are going early. So and New York schools, they go early too.
Yeah.
What is your TOEFL score, by the way? Like, is it something you are thinking about redoing it anyways? I mean, do you want to give it a shot? Because you still have time. And if you have time and money, might as well do it now. Then in July, you find out then they're not accepting it. And now you have to give the exam. You have to wait for your application, which is incomplete, was not going to submit until then. A lot of tension, a lot of stress. So I don't know. Is there a way to choose which school to use West only results without them accessing our ECE? So are you saying that you have already applied with ECE and now you want to apply with West?
No. I think she's saying is that can you pick what the school ECE or WES? No, you can't. They're gonna see both. I mean, like because it's on Caapid. Yeah, they're gonna see both. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if you only want to apply to, if your WES is way higher, then and you want to try just applying to those schools, that's an option. I guess, right? Yeah. If it's that much higher, yeah.
Yeah, Deperia is asking. Her TOEFL is 106, and that's why it's expiring in July. So yeah, like I said, if you're applying in like one of those schools, then hurry up before it gets too late. Stephanie's saying UPenn is one of the universities which TOEFL Home Edition is not accepted. So yeah, this is what I'm saying. That's every year they come out with like new rules. So into 2020, 2021, everyone was accepting it. And now some universities are saying, oh, we don't accept it anymore. So I don't want you to rely on that. And your dream school says, oh, we don't take it anymore. And now you're stuck. Seema is saying my EC is going to expire in 2024. Do I have to get a new one if I'm applying? Yes, mine expired too. And I learned the hard way. After 5 years, I was like, why is my EC not sending to Caapid? Found out, oh, well, I have to pay again. That's how they get you.
That's how they get you.
Wes is higher, but I love to apply to Boston and NYU too. Which I think he's saying it's in a continuation. It's
Only
a way to choose which school to. Yeah. So I mean, if you love to apply to Boston and NYU, then ECE. That's the way to do it because they don't accept Wes. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now we're going to come to last of this Caapid application question that was asked in the poll was research and volunteer experience. So Justin, you tell me what percentage of research and volunteer plays a role in the Caapid profile?
That's a great question. Okay, here's a big thing, guys. Like I had like one little research thing. Some of my candidates have none. So I would say community service. And here's, again, if you look at some schools, you'll see what they ask for. UIC specifically states what they're looking for: leadership, community service, volunteer work, work experience home country, work experience in the United States, and like, if it's like wide variety, like mixed experience. So again, guys, so like if you don't have research, it's not the end of the world. Just have a lot of volunteer. The main thing I know a lot of schools look for is your heart for the community. I'd rather, like, there's two guys, one guy with a great profile, one guy probably me, but I had leadership experience and community service in Philippines and in California, where we really we made an impact. We helped the community. We gave food drives. I got into 4 schools out of 6. So I always tell people, in my personal experience and what my students' experience is, community service goes a long way, but make sure you can explain it on your profile and make sure you can explain it during your interview very well.
Exactly. When 2021, still COVID was going on in Kentucky, they let the dentist give out COVID vaccines. So we were one of the first volunteers. I was like on the front to help and administer COVID vaccines to the community. It was not only a great experience for your resume, but also heart-touching too. Imagine all those old people, old grandfathers and mothers, they were coming in finally to get the injection, like, now I can finally see my grandson, and I haven't seen my family in months. So those kind of things, like, that touch your heart, you got to show them. You have the heart to help your community. You have the heart to help your, the community you're serving in. It's not about just, the shiny, glamorous DDS and dental care, guys. It's the community around too. A lot of people cannot afford dental care. So these schools have those free dental clinics sometimes where you can come as a volunteer and help them out. So it's your job to look for those schools and those community opportunities they're carrying out, and then talk about that. Hey, I see you have this free dental drive on Sundays of every month, and I am part of that too. I love doing this. This is what I've done it before, and I want to keep doing it in your school if I get it. See what I'm saying? So these kind of things really important. Sometimes it's not about the GPA. Like I said, all of you keep saying, my GPA is this, my GPA is this.
GPA, yeah.
How's my profile? Well, if everyone has the same profile, but one is really caring about the community, they love their, going out all the way. They're doing Sunday volunteering. They do this, they do that, helping the mosque, helping the, church. You know what? I'll take this guy then.
Yeah.
So
actually,
this is very important.
Yeah. Leo, here's a great point to kind of end this question with is I've coached interviews for every single dental school with an advanced standing program, even some 4-year traditional students, right? And guess how many times they've asked your research experience? Guess how many do? Rarely. Guess which ones ask about your community service or thank you. Like they only ask about it if the interviewer is a research person, like is the research director at UIC. That's the only guy who asked it. But other schools, guys, it's pretty much like, hey, tell me about your community service experience. Which one was the most meaningful? Why did you choose that one? Oh, so like, but then when you talk about, it's not just what you say, it's how you talk about it. It's like, like I told them that my family migrated to the U.S. when I was 4 years old and I lived in a garage. So I never got the best health or medical care. So my dentist treated me poorly. So I wanted to be a dentist that makes a difference in my community. So that's why ever since then, I've been volunteering. So how you explain it, guys, that's the biggest thing.
Exactly. My EC report was done in August 2019. Do I need to submit? You need 5 years, guys. 5 years. So you're good. Is traveling to Florida make it easier to get to a hygiene license, or is it a weight game?
Yeah.
No, it's equal for everyone. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I have 0 home country experience. I graduated and then I just came on a green card. Will that affect my profile to some schools, especially UIC? Well, like we talked about, this is your chance to now show all the experience in the United States, shadowing, assisting. You didn't do anything in your home country, no problem. Start working over here and show them. You have a green card, here you go, so you can work. Stephanie's asking, is it better to have 2 LORs from different American dentists who I've worked for, or one from a professor and one from a dentist? Stephanie, I think you joined a little late. We went in and talked about all that. But don't worry, once this video is going to be over, it's going to be saved and you can replay it again. But just to keep it short, it doesn't matter if it's from a director or a professor. It's all about the content. What are they writing? What are they writing in your letter is more important than who is writing the letter. All right?
Yes.
Justin, in the end, before you go, my friend, a lot of these students want to know if they want a one-on-one session with you or me, if they want to know, how to work with their SOP writing or interview and anything, how can they reach out? What's the procedure, please?
That's a great question. Okay, so for me, I have over 25 clients as candidate this cycle currently, and I always like to give my best to each person I work with. So I have like a 3-week waiting list if we want to start working on anything right now. But if you just want like a consultation, hit me up on Acoustic Dentist on my Instagram, and then from there we can kind of go.
Running right under right now, guys. Here we
exactly. Go. Acoustic Dentist on Instagram. Just send me a message. Hey, I saw your thing. If you want me to assess your profile, send me your documents, and again, just say, hey, Justin, what's your email? There we go. I'll send you my documents and then set up a time, which I only have like 2 slots left for this next week. Okay, guys. And for Leo, he has always great advice as well.
Of course. Thank you, my friend. Yeah. So with that, any other questions if you have, we have these always there to help you. Our Instas are there. Our, all socials are there. I would still want to say one thing before we go out. Do not ever give up. This happens all the time. Rejections happen all the time. This whole process is very difficult, very tedious, very long, but in the end, it's going to work out. It's going to work out for all of you. I wish you all the best. Good luck. Keep working, keep doing. You have 2 months. Get the best profile and get applied, and hopefully we'll get good news from all of you. All right? With that, good night. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you, guys.